Welcome to your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including the arrest of a Westport librarian, a Darien teen charged with selling drugs, and much more. Frank Granito has your forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update later on, and Donald Lang will join us to take a look back on this day in history. But first, this morning's snow has led to some issues on the roads. Take a look at a video shared by Connecticut State Police a little earlier this morning. This is I-395 in Norwich at exit 18, where the highway was closed for a time around 10 a.m. for a minor injury in a tractor-trailer accident. Now here in southwestern Connecticut, many schools delayed, but we haven't had any major reports of trouble on the roads. State police, however, say while the snow may be winding down, the roads remain slick, so please watch your speed as you travel throughout the day. And of course, in just a bit, Frank Granito will have a look at what to expect weather-wise the rest of the day. But in other news, a Westport library manager, Robert Kelly, has been arrested by Westport police for possession of child pornography. A search of Kelly's Westport home found 45 images of child pornography on his electronic devices. Now, police secured an arrest warrant for Kelly, and he turned himself into police on January 29th. He was released after posting a $100,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court on February 7th. Now, the investigation began in August 2017 when Westport police were notified by the Connecticut State Police Computer Crime Unit that an unidentified person in Westport was sharing child pornography over Facebook. Now, Westport police say they identified that suspect as 43-year-old Robert Kelly. Well, Westport Library Executive Director Bill Harmer said in an issued statement that the safety of the library patrons, staff, and community is a priority for us. He said the moment we were made aware of this investigation, we immediately restricted Mr. Kelly's access to the library and its property and instructed him not to perform his duties. Harmer went on to say this is now a police matter being handled by the Westport Police Department, and as soon as we have an opportunity as an employer to move forward, we will do so. And Darien police have arrested an 18-year-old resident for allegedly selling drugs to other teens in town on a regular basis. Now, police say the investigation into Jack Reed of Shady Acres Road began several months ago. On January 29th, members of the Darien Police Department served the search warrant at the home of Jack Reed. Now, the search yielded a substantial amount of evidence, they say, that Reed was distributing marijuana as well as manufacturing and distributing THC oil mixtures made to be consumed in vaporizer devices. In addition, Reed was selling those vaporizer devices. Quantities of LSD were also found, and the estimated street value of the contraband found during that search warrant is about $6,500. Investigators also found about $400 in counterfeit $20 bills. Reed was arrested and faces several charges. He was released and given a court date of February 9th in Stamford. Police say that this investigation is ongoing and they're releasing no further information at this time, but you can check for updates at DarienTimes.com. And in other news, a man wanted for a double homicide in South Carolina was found in Connecticut on Monday. On January 29th, Connecticut State Police detectives from the Eastern District Major Crime were contacted by Aiken County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina requesting help in finding a suspect wanted for a double homicide. Now, state police detectives received additional information that that suspect, 20-year-old Jeremy Toby, was at the Wyndham Hospital in Willimantic. Well, detectives, along with Troop C in Tolland and Willimantic Police, responded to the hospital where they found Jeremy Toby as he was about to be discharged. Now, he was taken into custody and transported to Troop C, where he was charged with being a fugitive from justice and held on a $1 million bond. Toby is scheduled to appear in court today. Detectives also located and seized a stolen car that Toby used in his flight to Connecticut. And a TV personality who appeared on home remodeling reality shows has been accused of sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl at his Old Lyme home. 36-year-old Christopher Dion of Old Lyme, Connecticut, has appeared on HGTV's pilot of the show Family Flip and a yet-to-be-aired A&E show called House Rescue. Well, he turned himself in to state police Monday to face charges of fourth-degree sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor. Now, those charges stem from an investigation that started back in November. According to media reports, A&E says it has suspended production of Home Rescue in light of Dion's arrest. And in other news, Milford police are investigating a fraud complaint that was first reported on January 26th, and they have a photo of the suspect allegedly involved. Now, they say a victim's personal information was used to create a fake Connecticut ID and license, and that person using the ID made 2 withdrawals at Chase Bank in Rye, New York on December 1st and Chase Bank in Rybrook, New York on December 1st. Now, they're asking anyone with information on that suspect to contact detectives at 203-783-4762. And a Weston couple was targeted in a blackmail scam involving the digital currency Bitcoin. A letter was addressed to a husband in Weston asking for $8,400 in Bitcoin. And if the money wasn't received in 9 days, the letter said that that scammer would reveal a secret that the man was keeping from his wife. Now, that letter, which the couple received on Friday, January 26, addressed the woman by her first name and included a specific reference of their address in the body of the letter. Well, that letter never specified exactly what the secret was, and a CNBC report revealed that a very similar letter has been sent out to affluent neighborhoods around the country since November 2017. In the earliest versions of the letter, the scammer was asking for about $2,000. Well, Weston Police Chief Edwin Hennian said this is the first type of this scam that he's seen in town so far. He said if anyone receives a letter like this and believes they're being extorted, he asked them to please bring it to the police station right away. There's much more on the details of that scam letter at aspatuck.news. But all right, let's switch gears. Throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at your forecast today. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. We should be out of the way of the snow for now, at least. Could be coming back later on this week. Looking at mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the day. Temperatures in the low to mid 30s, a high of around 36. A little breezy with wind gusts up around 15 miles per hour. Should see skies starting to clear up overnight, a low of 15. Heading into Wednesday, a lot of the same. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds through the day. Temperatures in the low 30s, high of 32. Overcast on Wednesday night, a low of 24 degrees. And then Thursday is where it gets a little bit spotty. We'll have cloudy skies throughout the day. Temperatures around 40 degrees, but later on, they're going to start to drop, get into the low 20s, and we could see snow starting to fall Thursday night. No more than an inch maybe Thursday night, but it could continue on Friday morning. Might see another inch or two before the end of the work week. We'll keep an eye on that, but for now, we go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Lang will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this.
Walter Stewart's Market is your destination for the best big game fixings. From our house-made fresh guacamole and dips to chili, chicken wings, pulled pork potato skins, risotto balls, and take and bake house-made specialty pizzas. Combined with a selection of the best craft brews, Stewart's is your one-stop big game shop. Stop into Walter Stewart's Market, conveniently located at 229 Elm Street in New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Our Ram trucks get the job done with unparalleled style and performance. Call, click, or stop in to find the new Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck that you've been looking for. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands at the 2018 Auto Show event and start something new sales event. Now through January 31st.
At Galt, we always put you first. As your full-service home heating partner, we provide expert delivery, installation, and maintenance for all your heating needs with knowledgeable, friendly professionals that give you peace of mind 24/7. Galt Family Companies, you first since 1863.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
Set sail on a summertime adventure with Sail Away Sailing School. Located in Captain's Cove Seaport in Bridgeport, we're sailing June 18th through August 10th. 2 sessions offered daily, Monday through Friday for ages 9 to 15. Have fun, make friends, learn to sail. Visit teamsailaway.com. Set sail.
Welcome back to this January 30th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with our own Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, we have endings, beginnings, and beginnings of endings today. But first we go all the way back to 516 BCE. The Second Temple of Jerusalem is completed. Now, according to legend, it replaced Solomon's temple, which had stood for about 600 years and been destroyed about 70 years earlier. The Second Temple itself would stand for about 600 years until destroyed by the Romans in the year 70. The ruins, as you can see, are still there today, one of the most holy sites in Judaism. According to the Jewish eschatology, it will be replaced by a third temple before the end of days. 1661 now, Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of the Commonwealth, is executed for his role in deposing Charles I 12 years earlier. Now, Cromwell was chained, then hung, then beheaded, then his headless body thrown into a pit. Renaissance England could still get medieval when they had to. Now, the brutal thing is that Cromwell had died 2 years earlier, but the English didn't let that little detail stop them. His head became something of a tourist attraction for the next 300 years before being buried in an undisclosed location at Sidney Sussex College in Cambridge. 1948 now, Mahatma Gandhi assassinated by Natharam Godse, a Hindu extremist, enraged at the generosity Gandhi had shown to Muslims during the partition of India. Now, Godse and an accomplice were given a public trial, though his testimony on why he had killed Gandhi was banned by the Indian government. Godse was executed in November of 1949, despite pleas for clemency from both of Gandhi's sons. Finally, now we go to 1968, 50 years ago today, halfway around the world for this.
Now, yesterday, the enemy exposed himself by virtue of this strategy, and he suffered great casualties.
Other battles were raging in the streets of Saigon, one not far from the presidential palace. An attack on the palace itself had been driven back. The enemy had been planning the Tet Offensive for the past 6 months. Almost 100 tons of military supplies had been moved into the region around Saigon.
That was the Tet Offensive, launched today on this day, 1968, by the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese Army. The attacks took the U.S. by surprise, and even though the attacks were eventually pushed back and soundly defeated, the fact that the North had mustered nearly 600,000 soldiers and 100 tons of equipment was a PR blow that the U.S. never really recovered from. That is your look back in history for today, January 30th. I'm Don Ling.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, back to local news. In Stratford, a woman and her daughter lost their belongings in a Sunday evening fire in the condominium complex where they lived. Now, Stratford firefighters responded at about 10:30 p.m. Sunday to a fire call at the Deerfield Woods condominiums on Broadbridge Avenue. Fire Marshal Brian Lampart said the fire was found in the bedroom of a third-floor apartment, and it caused extensive damage throughout the unit. Firefighters contained the blaze and limited the smoke damage to one section of the third floor and maintained control of the building of 100 units. The mother and daughter who lived in the damaged apartment were not home at the time, but returned to find their belongings ruined. No injuries, thankfully, were reported. Lampart said an investigation of the fire is ongoing, and the Red Cross is assisting the people whose home was damaged. And in other news, a Connecticut police officer has been charged with hitting a handcuffed man in the face as he sat in the back of a cruiser. The state's Division of Criminal Justice announced that New London police officer Deanna Knott was arrested Monday on a misdemeanor assault charge. Now, Knott is accused of striking the man in June 2016 after he allegedly struggled with officers trying to place him in a cruiser. The man had been involved in a fight and was later convicted of assault. Well, New London police investigated and suspended Knott for 7 days, and Police Chief Peter Reichard told the Day of New London that he could not comment on the criminal charge. And the Connecticut Department of Health has classified flu activity in Connecticut as widespread, with flu-related emergency room and outpatient visits both on the rise. Well, this week, St. Vincent's Medical Center is asking potential visitors with any flu symptoms to forego in-person visits to loved ones who are currently hospitalized. Now, St. Vincent's encourages potential visitors to follow some recommendations prior to visiting the hospital, including not visiting if you're ill or have been in contact with those who have been ill with respiratory symptoms. Children are also discouraged from visiting at this time, and visits should be by patient request only. They also say consider visiting your loved ones via telephone, but if you must visit, please sanitize your hands, cover coughs and sneezes, and follow any posted isolation guidelines. And if you have respiratory symptoms and must visit, please wear a mask, they ask. There's also more information at any of our HAN Network news sites. And a relative newcomer to New Canaan, Mike Morrow, a Republican, was elected to the town council Monday night to fill the seat that opened after the recent resignation of Ken Campbell, also a Republican. Now, Morrow was elected by the other 11 members of the legislative body on an interim basis and will have to face a townwide election for the seat in November. Now, the vote was 8 for Morrow and 3 for Colm Dobin, who's a Democrat who has served many years on the town's Inland Wetlands Commission and ran for council seat last November. Now, representing a younger demographic of New Canaan's population was part of Morrow's pitch to the council before the vote, as both candidates were given a chance to present themselves and then answer some questions. Morrow said that having recently gone through the process of choosing New Canaan as the town to live in and his demographic would make him a valuable member of the council. He is 43 years old, and you can get more information at ncadvertiser.com. And a love of art is common ground for two pairs who will be featured in the Wilton Library's upcoming exhibition, A Couple of Couples, Paintings and Photography. Now, this opens Friday, February 2nd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Julie Leff and Charles Dudhat, artists from Weston, and Leona and Richard Frank of Westport, artist and photographer respectively, will showcase more than 60 of their works in that exhibition that runs through February 23rd. You can get a lot more information at wiltonbulletin.com. But we are going to step out for a break right now, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the... Oh, I'm so sorry. I totally messed that up. We are going to go over to Frank Granito for your Nutmeg Sports Update. I'm out one day, and I forget how the show works, but let's throw it over to Frank.
It was a bit of a slow Monday, just a handful of games in action around the conference, so we don't have much to recap. Girls hockey, Greenwich, the defending conference champions, roll past Ridgefield 4-0. That not the only shutout on the board last night. Darien and boys hockey blanked the Cadets of St. Joe's 7-0. South Windsor was on top of the Fairfield Co-op 4-2, and Stanford West Hill fell out of conference at the hands of Scarsdale, New York by a score of 4-2 as well. But all eyes tonight are on the Zeoli Fieldhouse in Wilton. It is a rematch of the 2017 boys basketball FCX championship game. The Warriors hosting their rival, the Ridgefield Tigers. Tip-off at 5:15. We'll be on the air at 4:45, getting you ready for action. Kevin and I have a special Nutmeg Sports from the Z. For now, though, we go back over to Kate, who will send it to a break this time.
Now I will take a break. I just didn't want Frank to get as much airtime as me. But we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top news stories we're following today after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. A Westport library manager, Robert Kelly, has been arrested by Westport police for possession of child pornography. A search of Kelly's Westport home found 45 images of child pornography on his electronic devices, according to police. Now, police secured an arrest warrant for Kelly, and he turned himself into police on January 29th. He was released after posting a $100,000 bond and will appear in Norwalk Superior Court on February 7th. Now, an investigation began back in August 2017 when Westport police were notified by Connecticut State Police Computer Crimes Unit that an unidentified person in Westport was sharing child pornography over Facebook. Well, Westport police said they identified that suspect as the 43-year-old Robert Kelly. Well, Westport Library Executive Director Bill Harmer said in an issued statement that the safety of the library patrons, staff, and community is a priority for us. He said the moment we were made aware of this investigation, we immediately restricted Mr. Kelly's access to the library and its property and instructed him not to perform his duties. Harmer also said this is now a police matter being handled by the Westport Police Department, and as soon as we have an opportunity as an employer to move forward, we will do so. And in other news, Darien police have arrested an 18-year-old resident for allegedly selling drugs to other teens in town, they say, on a regular basis. Now, police say the investigation into Jack Reed of Shady Acres Road began several months ago. And on January 29th, members of the Darien Police Department served the search warrant on the home of Jack Reed. That search yielded a substantial amount of evidence, they say, that Reed was distributing marijuana as well as manufacturing and distributing THC oil mixtures made to be consumed in vaporizer devices. In addition, Reed was selling those vaporizer devices. Quantities of LSD were also found. The estimated street value of that contraband found during that search warrant is about $6,500. Investigators also found $400 in counterfeit $20 bills. Reed was later arrested and faces several charges. He was released and given a court date of February 9th in Stamford. Police say the investigation is ongoing, and so they will release no further information at this time. There's more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And a man wanted for a double homicide in South Carolina was found in Connecticut on Monday. On January 29th, Connecticut State Police detectives from the Eastern District Major Crime were contacted by the Aiken County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina requesting assistance in locating a suspect wanted for a double homicide there. Now, state police detectives received some additional information that that suspect, 20-year-old Jeremy Toby, was at the Windham Hospital in Willimantic. Well, detectives and Willimantic police responded to the Windham Hospital where they found Jeremy Toby as he was about to be discharged. He was taken into custody and transported to State Police Troop C, where he was charged with being a fugitive from justice and held on a $1 million bond. Toby is scheduled to appear in court today. Detectives also say they located and seized a stolen car that he used in his flight to Connecticut. And in other news, a TV personality who has appeared on home remodeling reality shows has been accused of sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl at his Old Lyme home. 36-year-old Christopher Dion of Old Lyme, Connecticut, has appeared on HGTV's pilot of the show, Family Flip, and a yet-to-be-aired A&E show called House Rescue. Well, he turned himself into police Monday to face charges of fourth-degree sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor. Now, those charges stemmed from an investigation that started back in November. According to media reports, A&E says it has suspended production of House Rescue in light of Dion's arrest. And Milford police are investigating a fraud complaint that was first reported on January 26, and they have a photo of the suspect allegedly involved. They say a victim's personal information was used to create a fake Connecticut ID license, and the person using that ID made 2 withdrawals at Chase Bank in Rye, New York on December 1st, and the Chase Bank in Rybrook, New York on December 1st. They're asking anyone with information about that suspect to contact Milford detectives at 203-783-4762. All right, we're going to take one more final look at the forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. Again, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the day. Temperatures in the low to mid 30s. A little cooler overnight as there's a stronger breeze through the afternoon. Temperatures falling all the way down tonight into the low 20s. See a lot of the same tomorrow, maybe a little bit more patches of sun throughout the afternoon. But again, temperatures in the low 30s. Clearing skies overnight. Temperatures falling down into the teens. There is a chance after a cloudy day on Thursday, we could see a little bit more snow Thursday night into Friday morning. The big story is going to be Friday night. What will the freeze effect be like? Temperatures might fall all the way down into the single digits, but we'll have plenty more on that as the week rolls along. Again, this afternoon, we are at the Zeoli Fieldhouse at Wilton High School, 4:45, a special Nutmeg Sports getting you ready for a rematch of the boys basketball FCX championship from 2017. Ridgefield and Wilton at the Z, 5:15 tip-off. We'll see you there. For now, let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we are going to wrap things up here on your coffee break, but we'll see you tomorrow with the latest local news and more. Have a great day.